Good afternoon. Welcome to Risk Neutral Trading Globex edition. This is my virtual trading journal, and I have a commitment, very, very firm commitment to take no trades off of a live stream. All trades are live, real time on live stream. So if I am going to investigate trade opportunities in the Globex ORBs, I have to have the stream up, so that's the purpose there. Typically, the stream is from 8 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time through 1500, which is the cash close. And now I've added this for about the last 4 or 5 weeks. So what you see here is, again, my virtual trading journal. However, I take all trades live, real time, never replay, never a video on the stream. I have these two primary monitors here. This is my IRT or trading charting monitor, and this is Bookmap. Now, having said the purpose of the stream, I guess in the way the stream functions is everything that I see here on my two primary monitors are captured on the video, and then my voiceover provides insight as to what I was thinking. So that's how it works. Now, you see, we just got off the blocks here for Wednesday's trade. This is the opening print of the Globex. I'll put my blue line there. That's Blue Boy. That's the first print of every session. I always mark that out. And I should say also that the stream, again, is my virtual trading journal, and I trade live, and I only trade vetted setups. But the purpose of the stream is not for financial or trade advice, and there's a disclaimer in the description. But how could I have a journal about my trading and then not have my trading? It doesn't make any sense, right? So that's how it works. This is IRT. This is a Bookmap. I'm sorry, and this is IRT, where my charting platform, and also where I back test and forward test strategies. This is where I develop strategies and do the homework to statistically verify that they have a positive edge or not. So there we go. And yeah, welcome to the stream. What can I say? Basically a homework session here where I'm investigating the opportunities that are, if it's worth doing or not. That's the idea here. Wait a minute. I'm having trouble getting my mouse. My eyes are all goofed up. Didn't rest my eyes properly, but put the medicine in them for the break here, so I'm taking some strain. Okay, make sure everything is happening along here. I'm not very used to these streams yet. So no real news or pre-market, obviously. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm tired, and you can tell, right? So here's our trade today. This is the micro composite chart for the ES or MES. Here we are today. Market profile, Renko, NQ Renko, and then these are the minis. Same story. So there we have it. Got a case of the yawns here. Sorry about that. 33C. That's pretty flipping hot. Real fortunate to be comfortable. So let me just think here. Seems like I'm forgetting to say something, but I don't know what the hell it is. Oh, there we go. Got everything going now. How sweet is that? I don't see the orb low, however. Put up some new stuff here I'm trying to figure out. Did I get all that right? I'm seeing the orb high and the and the zones, but I'm not seeing the orb low down here. I'm not sure why. Well, I'll have to look into that. I just did this today, so that's kind of frustrating. It is. It should be right here with the overnight low. Let me see what I've done here now. I'll just kick off some music, and that'll be entertaining. And then I'll have to look into the code here and see what I've goofed up or not. Wait a minute here. Why is that doing that? That's okay. Well, my eyes are really taking some strain here. Bear with me. Okay, so that should be right. Should be high and low. Low should be 276. That's 275. That's about right. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some stuff here now. What am I gonna do? Okay, I've got to do some back end stuff here, so bear with me, please. Or not. Whatever. Boy, my eyes are killing me. This is not good. I should have rested them. So why isn't that working? Why aren't I seeing the orb low over here? Bear with me, sorry. That's why right there, 277. It's got to be 276. There we go. All right, well, that'll do it. Always helps to have the right number, doesn't it? Okay, in a minute that'll pop over there, and then that will materialize right down here, just like that is right up there. Oh, good. Event globe. Next time it comes around, that should publish over here, and then we'll have all those for the sessions, and I won't have to do all this monkeying around. Let's hope. There we go. See how that works? Who's this man? Cool. I don't have to draw those silly lines anymore. Super duper. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm happy about that. So there we are. Let's just see how this starts to develop now. The strategy that I'm doing is the opening range breakout, or the ORB trade for the Globex and then for Asia. So Globex is now until 1800, and then Asia starts at 1900. This has been filled already. So this is working out well. I'm glad about that. I don't have to worry about that. Those lines and levels, that's all in place. This orb trade is based on my newer data analysis tool from Edgeful, and these are percentages of the range. So obviously, as the range expands, they will adjust automatically, the way it should be. This is also a, as I said at the initial comments there, this is a IRT where I basically do my study, my vetting software, setups, back testing and forward testing, and all of that work is done in the simulated environment within IRT. Obviously, I'm not going to forward test, which is, have this system trading in the live market. I'm going to have it trade live data real time, but over here in the simulated environment. And this is the orb trade that we're working on now, and it's set up. And so you see here's the initial balance that just ended. And now here we start off with this one. And this is these values are what are pushing to bookmap. And I will start analyzing the data and getting everything else ready as soon as I finish eating this wonderful watermelon. How she does it, but my wife can pick fruit and stuff like that. Amazing. Always fantastic. So this system will not take any trades tonight because it's working the initial balance only, and there was no trades today. The orb over here for Globex is just starting to print. And what this is based on is the Edgeful data. And that is what I'm trying to do here basically I am an old cowboy from Montana, and I'm not a young code guy, right? So it took me a long time to put this together accurately and have it work the way I expect it to and all of that. So since this has been built, I'm able to take pieces out of this. You might recognize some of the names over here. This is basically back office and the trigger stuff, and then trade management, but not very efficient. And obviously I need to have more than just one or two trades vetted that I can take during the day. That's pretty frustrating. So what I'm doing now is leaning on Edgeful, which is this application. And the first thing we need to do is change the session, and we'll need to change the customization here to get rid of the we're on Tuesday. This trade is for Wednesday now, and we don't have an ending zone yet, so that's okay. And now I'll get back over here to buy weekday. So this is the expectation probabilities looking back 6 months on Wednesday. So look at there. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday. Now, we're going to need more than 6 months, I think, because it's not enough data, not enough points, data points. About the same, though, so that's good. And this is the MES, looking back 2 years. This is the probability of a breakout, single breakout, double breakout, no breakout in the first 1 hour. I mean, it's a 60-minute initial balance or orb. The next thing that's pretty important here with the data is to determine which level formed first. Whether it's the high, was the high formed first, or was it the low that formed first? Well, it is the low that formed first. You can see that now with the level, with all my levels here on Bookmap. Here's the low, right? Something's wrong. How is this the ETH low? Impossible. Here is. This is pretty weird because this is the volume profile. There's nothing down here. It's kind of weird. This is correct. But this makes no sense unless there's a print down here that I'm not getting a hold of. Anyway, so even if it's up here, the low was put in first, and here's the high second. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back over here to a new tool that I'm just getting used to and that I really appreciate, which is right here. Right. And I didn't have any of this set up yet, but I will do so pretty darn quick. We'll get the dashboard showing. That's this thing up in the upper right corner. For this current one, we'll shut off the IB one from earlier today so that we just have one at a time printing up there. Oops, get over here, Mr. Microphone, printing up there. So here we are so far. We got a 9 3/4 point orb forming, and that's right here. Now the low is 538.5. Hold it, nobody move. 75.40.75. Okay. And that's correct. That's what we're getting printed down here. Well, 41s. What the hell's going on with Bookmap? That's pretty weird. I've never seen that kind of a discrepancy here with the with the Globex before. I give up. Okay, well, anyway, so here we have. And by the way, these really handy indicators here for the initial balance. There's also orbs in this and the. The sessions are included with the subscription for Edgeful. You get them by looking here and all of these indicators. Man, I have only scratched the surface. I've looked at like 3, you know. Anyway, so let's stick to the business at hand. We put in the orb first, the orb low first, Here we are at the high. We've got about, call it 10. And this is, I'm using instead of the opening range breakout, I'm using the initial balance for all of these because it's got some extra choices in the setup, like print the prices and do some different things that the orb doesn't have. And I can set a more precise and varied time group or, different session links. So that's why I'm using the same one. Anyway, I don't think anybody cares but me, but there you go. So the opening low was formed first. We then, at this point, so far with more filters, we have a 53 and a 53. So let's call it 54% probability under these circumstances right now that we're going to break the high. Not a surprise. And remember that this is going to continue to form for 1 hour. So, hey, Magic, what's up, dude? How'd your day go? Mine was upside down and backwards. I had the perfect by the numbers, by edge full setup, and it happened while I was driving my daughter this morning on that little short run I have to do a couple of days a week for her. And I got back like 10 minutes after it had hit and was gone, and the market ran away, and that was as close as I got. I hope hope your day was great. I'm sure that it was. I was actually thinking about, I've got these zones printing out here now, pushing from IB or IRT, so I don't have to monkey around with all those stupid blue lines every place. And I was just looking at your 30-second thing there thinking, well, so if he got along, he's a pretty happy guy. That was really demoralizing today, I'll tell you. Really disappointing. And boy, it did exactly per the stats. The the opening, the IB high pulled back between the 25 and the 50, right where the that's what I figured, yeah. Oh well. And if I remember right, you're Lucid, right? You're using Lucid. Do they monkey around? I should know this, but I don't. What do they do for commissions and stuff? Round trip thing, costs and all those things. Not that it matters or it's any of my business, but that's one of the problems with the hedging thing and a bunch of, doing a lot of trades, working with the hedges. You can suddenly get upside down fast with with commissions, and you start getting on a lot of trades. I'm going to take advantage of this weekend and really bust my ass and try to vet some of the setups, some additional setups, including yours. Did you trade the NQ pretty much, or ES? MNQ. Is that $1 one way or $1 round turn? It is what it is. I mean, what are you going to do with a prop shop, right? With AMP, I was able to argue a little bit and negotiate kind of. $1.24 round trip per contract, or $1.23. And that's all in. That's exchange fees and everything for a real trading. So what? That's got nothing to do with what I'm doing now. Okay. I'm pretty puzzled about this problem right here. This is a really interesting thing I'm not sure what to do with. These levels are from IRT, right? And they are also tie up with it also ties up with TradingView. But look at the volume profile here. Here's the low way down. Here's the low way down here. The highs matches, but the low doesn't. I don't know what's going on with Bookmap. Boy, I'll tell you. I'm sort of thinking that, like Iron Tone trades off one platform, and, maybe that's the best approach. I haven't done that for a long time, but all this, I feel like a freaking Calliope player over here sometimes. Yeah, I'm exactly on a prop thing. What are you going to do? You're going to try to trade, and I have to recalibrate my brain to trade the prop evals. Way more risk and stuff rather than I am always in, like, it's my account mode, risk management and all that stuff. And that's not really the best way to be, I don't think. I used to trade the NQ also, and I look at it now and it scares me to death. And this wasn't so long ago. I also was laughing at myself. I traded minis too, not micros. And how I got into this when I started to do AMP, and then I was trading minis with that initial balance setup that I had vetted. And then it all started going south, so I started de-risking real fast, and that's how I got into micros. And now it's like, stupid. I got to get back to the other side of the world, back from the dark side over here. I hope it's not ridiculously hot wherever you are. It's 33 C here, which is about 93 or 4 or something like that. My old computer says 92, but it doesn't update very often. I'm not sure if that's exactly. I don't do the conversion in my head. I don't do the math. All right, so let me just get back over here and verify those numbers. I'm assuming the TradingView's got the right stuff going on. So the top is exactly right, and 41 is exactly correct as far as my levels being pushed from IRT to Bookmap. But what's got me puzzled is this volume profile. Because this is the full session volume profile. This should be ending right here where it is, and there should be volume down here. Well, maybe there wasn't any. Maybe it was a bunch of zeros or ones or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's forget about it. Forget about it. And this is, IRT. Okay. What was I doing? Being pissed about today. Boy, that irritated me a lot. 10 minutes or so, That's all it takes. That's all it takes. The volume was really, really light today. It's still down in the 50s. Still in the 50s. This is the average volume per, and this is looking back 20 trading periods of this time of day. This is the ATR for the 1 minute candle. This oh, well, that's a hell of a that. Oh, 81, that's sweet. Yeah, I mean, that's, 14 or 13 handles or 12 degrees less than over here, so that's cool. Not that I have to be out working in it, but I really feel for those who are. Yeah, well, I need to get this through the evaluation payouts. And make sure that I've got everything set up, and then I just keep pouring the payout money over to the AMP account, and I started this originally to de-risk, right? This edge or this lucid thing, and I saw somebody talking about, and I had no idea that the prop firms had changed so much. So how can you beat a one-time payment without any subscriptions, And I'm going to do that, and then keep. I'd like to get good at doing these prop things. Why not? I mean, it's always better to use somebody else's money, right? I would like to get good at it. And there's a lot of people that apparently are that can take these for several 40, 50,000. I think you mentioned you can get 50,000 worth of payouts out of them. So if you get good at doing that, why not? And then just keep putting the money in your own account and my account hasn't really lost anything, my AMP account, but that's why when I started hitting those, exceeded the stops in my structured trade and vetted setup, I just stopped trading it because that's what you do. If it's within parameters or within the backtesting parameters, you don't change anything. But the minute it gets out of that, you just, you got to stop figuring out what's going on. So everybody says. Knew it at all. As far as the structured trade and back testing and all that stuff. And when I traded before, it was essentially just discretionary like everybody else. I'm liking your idea a lot, though. That kind of thing resonates real well with me. Yeah. All right. Have a good one, man. Get some exercise. That's good for you. Yeah, this thing is like pulling teeth. If I wasn't committed to doing this stream, I would not be, probably. But I do want to see if there's any trades materialized. So, you know, you got to put in the time. I have to put in the time. But yeah, have a good walk, and thanks for dropping by. Nice talking to you always. I appreciate it. The hell, I don't get this. All right, so start looking into the data here, right? These are the zones. There's the orb high, the orb low, and these are the zones based on, you notice how they are just percentages of the 25% actually of the range. So that's all there's. Nothing is complicated or tricky here. This is always just, oh, here we're getting some data now coming in from IRT. It's now picking up some of the slack on the bottom side down here. Okay. Maybe it'll flesh out of it eventually. So anyway, yeah. Let's look at the data side of life over here. Okay, where am I now? I'm having a hard time. I'm so happy that those are, I'm glad, just making sure these levels are working right. The levels here are now, I've configured them all to push properly from IRT, and that's what I'm looking at, just making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be, and they are. So there we go. Cool. All right. Let's get on with the data story now. Typically, I do all my back testing and forward testing here on IRT, as I've mentioned a bunch of different times. And I only trade vetted setups, which I have pre-identified to have a positive expectancy and gone through my entire back testing and vetting process, which I'll go through in a couple of minutes here, maybe later in the stream, but I want to get with the data story now. So we've rolled over the, we're coming up on the first hour here pretty quick. So that will be the orb will set. Right now, the low is still the first level set, so we're still looking at this over here, and we'll be able to put in our ending zone pretty quick. And where did you go? There you are. This is just kind of to confirm everything is what is, 2 or 3 different places. If it all looks the same, that's good. Now, of course, if before the initial balance period is in place, they come down and put in a new low, we'll change the whole dynamics of the statistics around, because then it will be that the orb high was first formed right over here. So we just need to keep an eye on what's going to happen. We still have 10 minutes. And you never know. As it stands right now, we're trading below 50%. So, here we are. And there's the 50, there's the 25, and there's the orb low. Now, the next metric which will affect the data in Edgeful is the ending zone, and that's real simple. It's actually best, I think, described over here. The ending candle, the closing price of the last candle within the orb range, sets the zone. And the zone works opposite the first level formed. So if they close this thing down here, it will be this way: 0 to 25, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. If they close this down here, that would be a zone 75 to 100. And that would have a huge impact on the probability of which, will be taken out first and all that kind of stuff. Now, remember, we still have 10 minutes, so they could still go down and take out the orb low, put in a new orb low, which would change the whole dynamic, because then the high would be the first formed, if you see what I mean. So over here is the best way to look at it, I guess. You can do that now as equally well on Bookmap. Problem with Bookmap is it's there are no closing candle price, right? But if before 1800 this beauty goes whistling down through here, then it changes everything around, which looks to me like what they're up to. So it does. Maybe not, but we'll see. And once that orb forms, then this will flesh out, right? It'll be the first formed, and then when there is a breakout, it'll list high or low, and we can start doing the data. Now, typically, I would be starting to, getting all my spidey senses all tingly here about front running or not to front run or not to front run. And typically, I do not recommend front running these statistics in these opening range sessions. It might work out okay in the RTH, but I don't think there's enough volume and volatility in this in these opening range areas, and especially right now, because look here, this thing we could drop down here in 5 minutes. We still have 8 minutes, 7 minutes. We could certainly drop down here and put in a new low, and then everything changes. Then this doesn't apply anymore. This does, and on we go. So why would you try front running that? And we need to have our ending zone down here. So what I will do though, which we can watch, is be thinking about the retrace, because that's where the data comes in. But it also has to do with which initial balance was breakout means to the top, breakdown means to the bottom. So with all of the basic, got to change this customization around a little bit here. Get over here to Wednesday. Wait a minute, Wednesday. We have the right day. Yeah, okay. These would be the probabilities of a retrace to the 25, retrace to the 50, etc. Am I doing those other ones on Wednesday? I'm going to be so disappointed in myself. I got the wrong freaking day going on. Yeah, no, I'm right. So, we still have some time. There's dancing on the close, I guess. It looks to me, if I was a gambling man, I would say that we're gonna close in the 75 to 100% zone, which will immediately flip the statistics around over here. But you never know. But I'm not certainly going to try to front run that, because the minute I put an order over there, then they would drop through the orb low, and then all of a sudden the high would be first formed. Pretty weird, actually. Strange price action. See, the purpose of Blue Boy, which I'm not sure I talked about in this opening statements, but this is just a vertical line on the first print of the session. And my logic is that right here, right now is right here, right now. This is the current inside market. And that's the first print of the session. So without any question, this is the complete session so far. And there should be no question about context or anything else. That's why I like using it that way. Well, we're going to be in the 75 to 50 here, I guess. Maybe. Maybe. Alright, there we go. So our close is right on the 75 line again. Just barely. So I'm going to call it 75 to 50. Did that last night too. It's annoying. So what we're going to want to do here is come over here to the customization and put this bad boy in here. And now see what we get. Ooh, 50-50. No. The low is still put in first, so we have a 60% probability we're going to take out the IB low. 9% we take out the IB high. That's not very surprising, is it? With that ending zone in the time zone. Where did the time zone go? Okay, let me just see something here. There we are. Okay. And here would be our rejections. If they break the low, then there's a 43% we pull back to the 25, and a 33 we come to the 50. Typically when there's these orb trades and it's shorts, I'm looking at the 50, but that's just me. So the orb is in business now. We're at the 25. We have not broken the IB low or the orb low, or either one of them actually, of course. But so that's that. Now we'll just play this out and see what happens here. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Yeah, it would be kind of probably a good idea to be able to trade, eh? So in order to trade with Bookmap, you need to activate the trade control panel, pick an account, go back over here and close that, and you'll see that close and cancel are up here and all the metrics are down below. And now I'm probably going to get it updated the multi-bracket, so I suppose I'll get some nonsense about that again. Yeah, of course. This is something Bookmap does every time. Okay, and this is my high time frame, and there we go, 24, 2 lots, do. And where is the multi-account? Multi-trading. Hi, Panda. How are you, little girl? Are you okay? Nice to see you. Okay, there we did that. And now we need to make sure we're in the right journal. I knew there was stuff I needed to be doing, but I wasn't doing it right, was I? Okay, so the point of this is I de-risk myself with this edge or with these Lucid accounts, but one copies to all. So if I, $200 here, that's 200 push to 5 accounts, grand, and I can take payouts. If I were to just trade on simulation to test out these new strategies, it's simulation. You don't get paid. There's no possibility for anything. But in this case, there is. And the return on investment is phenomenal because it's only one-time deal, one-time payment, and cheap. So that's where I'm at. Now, let's see. I've got trading on. I don't have the hedge initial. I'm going to be using the multi-brackets. We haven't taken out the statistic yet, so we can't lean on our retracements. I don't think it makes sense to trade to the stat, even though it's 50 or 60% and hardly no possibility for the high. But you never know, especially in this Globex. It's a pretty dicey deal. So there we are. And first formed is low. Neither one has been taken out. And there we have it. Here we trade. Here we trade. Hi, Panda. My cat's in here telling me what I'm doing wrong. I'm not going to watch this. Let's get over here to that. We can watch everything now in Bookmap, which is so convenient. Baby, speak. So what's happening here now? Still no breakout. This could be a situation where they break it out and then just rip it, and then you're going, I knew I should have front run. But I have to stick to my guns. If I make a decision to do something other than, vetted trades, then I need to have declared that and, thought it through before the session. For example, I am very definitely going to be watching for asymmetric trades in the normal trading session, or maybe even in Asia. But where there's, an asymmetric trade location is just an area where you can have an asymmetric relationship between risk and reward. So, for example, up here, now this is just an example. You go short right here, and you can put your stop right there, 2 ticks above it, or a point above it. If it takes you out, you're wrong. But you have the full scope to trade it. This is a bad example, but you get the point. Typically, that's my approach to mean reversion trades. So So, what are we doing here? I'm making sure everything's running. I push my session prices. I publish them starting Sunday night at 1700 through typically Friday night at 1600. This Friday's a holiday, so they won't, of course, and then I share them freely with anybody that wants them. If you could use them and you're listening to the stream, drop something in the chat, like, subscribe, drop something in the chat, and I'll be happy to hook you up. These are the session prices. You can drop them in Bookmap Cloud Notes, in these indicators, your software of choice. Some people I know just it is a CSV file which comes down and updates automatically from Google Drive, so that it is there's no viruses or any goofiness, and it's an arm's length transaction away from me and my. And I know, like, I think Ned in the T-Lab just he's got some kind of a tool he's figured out in Excel where, his or Google Sheets, where he uses that data to propagate, and then he does a whole bunch of different stuff off of it, not using it in a software. And I know some people that I believe use them in Sierra charts. But anyway, whatever. And you can use whatever part of it you want. If you don't want all these colors and names, you can just the values or whatever. Whatever. Well, now we're at a real crossroads, because we're at the 50% line. Right there. So, do you short it and front run? But wait, what about the IB high? I just really, I know I'm going back and forth about it because I'm talking to myself. That's one of the things about this stream that's important to understand. The majority of the time I'm talking to myself. The reason I am talking out loud is to get this thoughts and what I'm thinking at the moment into the recording, into my journal. But yeah. So let's see what's my weekday. Rejection. So the low was formed first. We have a 50 to 75% ending zone. We've got a 9% probability we're going to take the high, and a 54% probability we're going to take the low. This is a relatively safe front run, isn't it? Because we're at the 50 here. And we could, now the next part is the size of the range, and you need to make sure there's enough meat on the bone. So what have we got? Well, we've got 3 points between the zones. So if you got short right at the mid, you're looking at max without any overrun or extensions. You're looking at max 6 points. I'm looking at max 6 points. This jigging and jogging around down here bothers me. They could turn this thing around and go blasting out of here just as easy as falling off a log. And it's happened many times. This orb is not I'm not very happy. I'm not particularly comfortable with it. Many times we don't get it. Here was a breakout, okay? And then we've got Asia. Here we go. And then pull back. Here we go, and pull back. Oh, that's the same one, I think. And these are not breakouts now. Remember that. This is the range. Oh, no. Hush my mouth. This green shadowed box in here is the 1 hour. This is the second 1 hour, so this did break out. Okay. Oof. This tool is pretty cool. I know I've said that a few times, but I'm so amazed that I didn't know anything about it before, and it seems like it's so handy to use. You'd think I'd have figured it out because just about every dillweed on YouTube that's got something going is using TradingView. But, you know, clever Trevor over here. I would have never come here and been doing this had Edgeful not provided those indicators. I wouldn't have ever thought about coming over here and doing anything. I don't think. Boy, is it handy. So much more handy than IRT, for example, or Bookmap, because you can just, like we were zooming back, looking at those previous relationships between the Globex and the Asia Open, or orbs. Well, you can't do that in that even remotely that fast with IRT. Now I'm going to be really mad, and I'm going to be bitching earlier, you know, in a little bit about the double top up here at the 50 and why I didn't short it. And yeah, but I am. If they break out and it starts to retrace, I will very definitely use those statistics and take a trade. I was really hopeful that these two orb, you know, the trades would be interesting, good trades, whatever you want to say, you know, good opportunities, because that would be, I would really like that. I'm a little fed up with the, you know, this geopolitical crap and the tweets and all of that noise, and it seems to be kind of quiet this time of day, so it would be kind of nice. And these traders here are not really probably that up to speed with the news from over here, you know what I mean? Because these guys are in Tokyo. I'm sure there's people like me here and in Europe, but primarily this is the, especially when Asia opens. Now, had I gotten short, I'd be looking at 3 points, which is a knuckle biter. Because that's not really... Once upon a time, with my 2-lot risk neutral multi-bracket, that was the first scale, risk 3, and you know, that was the RT1, and then it would be risk neutral, and you have the runner. A little different now. What I'm thinking they're going to do is consolidate like crazy, and then just before Asia opens, either they will not break it out and then have a drastic move right at the Asia Open, which has happened several times before in this past. I've only started doing this. This will be the 5th week, I think, or 4th or 5th. But I've noticed that a few times. Like this would all be inside, and then the minute Asia's getting ready to open, about 1900, this thing would fly one way or the other. A lot of volatility would kick in, which makes sense, you know. I mean, that's the first real trading session. This is not a real trading session here. This is a bunch of dorks like me. So we got 5 minutes. Just, you know, a couple of things to be aware of if you're not aware of Bookmap that I always want to try to throw out there as a caveat. Be real careful about this column right here. If you accidentally click in here for any reason, or if you bring your mouse this way and then move over here thinking that you're going to move the session prices and you give it a left click, you've got a limit order, you've got a market order on whether you wanted to or not. So This is a real dangerous column. Any click has got consequences. Live consequences. And I think I've explained all the columns here on Bookmap. If not, this is my micro composite column where I manually enter these values from IRT. These are the high and low volume nodes which push from the micro composite, full session volume profile, RTH volume profile, and delta. And this is the statistics column, the probabilities, and the statistical open for today was higher in range. And these are the IRT session prices. I don't have a dome here on here anymore, but I have the most important columns because I don't execute off the dome anymore. So I have the full level 2 book, ask, bid, and then the session prices. So there you go. And you'll notice there's no indicators on my Bookmap or IRT. There are only a few, you know, this is in the keep it in line with the keep it simple stupid idea. POC, which is nothing more than the price at which the most contracts have traded so far in the session. Right now, at 75.49.5, we've traded 905 contracts. That's the most contracts we've traded so far in this Globex. The minute one of these other prices trades to 906, this yellow line is going to zoom down there. It's just the price at which the most contracts have traded. And the same goes for up here in the RTH. And there's VWAP and, you know, just session prices. It's pretty simple. Again, keep it simple, stupid. Me being the brunt of that joke. Anywhere I encode the date on any of these columns or in titles of the streams or anything, it's day, month, and year. The way most of the world looks at it. I don't know if I forgot to say something or not, or I'll just do a quick run through here. Make sure I'm ready to roll. I'm not used to this evening stream yet. I'll be the first to tell. Typically, is when I'd be doing my homework, you know, vetting, working on the code to do some vetting of a setup or replay, and at the same time using replay on Bookmap to test out, you know, various procedures or strategies on some, it's real easy for me because I can pull up a stream from 2 weeks ago and I have no clue what happened during that day. I mean, it's brand new as far as I'm concerned, so it's not like cheating or knowing where it's going, you know. It works pretty good. And Bookmap has a phenomenal replay facility, by the way. There's a big bar, progress bar that comes across up here. It says replay down here, so be aware of that. But it really works smooth, and all the things work. Multi-brackets and all the lines and levels and the profiles and all that. It's all recorded. I record each session from from this open right here. Oops. From this open through 1600 tomorrow will be on one recording. Automatically. Well, I got to agree with Magic. This is about definitely. There are some other reports here which are I have to get into by levels, by retracement, by time, by double break, by overnight session, by close, by size, by performance, and then the levels are how you can look at how far it got one way or the other. You know what you use for targets. Pretty handy, pretty handy tool. Yeah, I know. Here we are at the 50, yeah. No breaky. No breaky, Joel. No breaky. So what can I do now? What kind of trouble can I get into here? Well, you see what we're doing, and it's about no fun. Here's where we are. This is today's RTH session, and here's the ETH. Same way with the NASDAQ. We did get up and take out this MCV POC right here, which was put in on the 22nd, right there. You see that? It was put in there, and we tagged that out. And guess what? Oh, look at here. Look at it right over here where this is. Isn't this cute? There it is. There's the MCV POC from the 22nd. Love it when a plan comes together, eh? What I do with these levels, which have been revisited, is change the text color from whichever it is, in this case red, to black. If I want to keep the levels on there for a little bit and make sure what's what, and I do, and then I'll take them off, at some point. And we have closed the gap. That's also another one here from that same day. So we'll leave these on for now. And, the gap low is way below us. And I mean way below us. This is the low today. This was our low. 74.95. Wow. Where the hell did this go? What day is it? What's the value? Oh, it's way in that crap down there. 74.29 is the gap low. Holy crap. That's a big gap. And I'm a poet. Wait a minute. Nobody moved. There we are. Gap low right there. 23rd. Okay. Oh, you got filled today, didn't you, buddy boy? This was actually filled some time ago, but now the gap has been taken away, so. Okay. And there we are. Housekeeping, back office maintenance. Housekeeping. And we're up to the 50 again. Ooh, now This is the third poke up here for in the VWAP. Oh boy, front run. Let's go. Let's go. Let's front run. Come on. Monkey boy bothering you? Is monkey boy whispering in your ear? Not mine. Monkey boy is my euphemism for all things psychology, which is a big deal for traders, it seems. Everybody has a different, Tom Bees calls his Hyde, Jekyll and Hyde. And the thing about it is, seriously, the wiring that we have inherited from our ancestors for over these thousands of years is how we got here, It's selective adaptation and selective breeding. That's those types of emotions and fears and, FOMO and fear of risk and all that stuff. That's how we got here. That's how we didn't end up lunch. So, two guys on the savannah 1,000 years ago, and they see the grass wiggle, and one of them goes over there and kicks the grass to see what's there, and he turns out to be lunch, and the other guy hiding behind a tree passes on his DNA. So that's where we got. That's where we are. That's how we got here. The problem is, it doesn't help us in trading, because this is you have to be risk seeking. Basically, we put on risk. So, and that's where greed and all those things also, and need to be right, and seeing patterns that aren't there, and confirmational bias and all that. I don't think we'll ever get rid of those things. Just like I could have probably taken a trade right here. This was a little bit after the fact, but that's sort of indicating that we might get some more lower ground and take that strategy or that zone. And I feel a little bit of FOMO going on that I should have taken that. Well, the way I deal with it, at least for me, and by not over trading or doing chasing or all of that crap, revenge trading, is I try to stay real aware of myself, aware of feeling like that. You're always going to feel those things. You're always going to experience that adrenaline or that dopamine or that emotion. But you can't let yourself act on it, or you're going to be one of the, walking wounded, one of the 95% that go broke, I think. That's my approach anyway. My thoughts on that subject. I agree with Magic. This is like watching paint dry. But that's what studying and homework's all about, isn't it? Oh, man. Well, we're coming up on the top of the hour, at which point I will change the zones and stuff, and we'll just keep going. This is kind of an all-new extravaganza here. Well, again, it's not at all unusual for this thing not to take out either of the orbs, high or low. And we can go back here and look at that, I think. I believe. I think now it's on ETH already, so let's just see where we are. Okay, that one it took out. That one it did not, I don't think. Oh, yes, it did right here. Okay. So, you know, this is the problem with, I just know it. Many times it hasn't taken this out. Now, I could have sworn that there were several recent occurrences where that IB had not been taken out. So far, or the orb, I should say. So far, we haven't seen one of them. So I'm sort of full of crap, I guess. I don't know, you know. It's amazing how your memory, your brain, or whatever. That's the problem with a lot of people, and confirmational bias, seeing patterns that don't really exist anywhere. I could have sworn to you, and I'll tell you a secret. I will tell myself a secret. I changed these from orb to opening range the other day. A day or two ago, Saturday maybe, Sunday. And then I didn't really look back here anymore. I have a feeling that if I put orb here, this makes no sense. because the first 1 hour and the time is what counts. Right? Now, for example, it better be 1700, yep. And this better be 1800, yep. And this better be 1900, yep. So, and the percentages are the same. So there could be no possibility that's got to do with the initial balance or the orb. So I take it all back. But I am just flabbergasted here because I could swear, well, here's one that didn't. Okay, maybe I'm just not looking back far enough. Did. What happened here? I didn't. This did not, but I must not have it going back. I don't have it going back far enough. Okay. Okay. Well, so in other words, Looney Tunes over here. And we've got about 15 minutes before this turns into a pumpkin. Cinderfella. So that's pretty funny to me, actually. Not funny, haha, but you know. Funny as in peculiar. I really would have said with conviction that there were several instances where this or Globex opening range had not broken out. And that's obviously wrong. We just looked. I'm still disappointed that this thing doesn't, or OBS is not ducking under the microphone like it's supposed to. I don't know what that is either, but I'm not going to worry about it. That's another weekend chore, maybe. That's a honeydew. Honeydew this, honeydew that. Okay, so here we are. We're going to top out here in another few minutes and slide into Asia, and then I'll change those back end stuff so that the session, so that these prices push across. Rebar blues. Do, 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 do. I promise I won't start singing here. All right, so that's ooh, here we go. My office is quiet. I don't have any speakers in here, so for me to hear this music or anything, I have to put on a headset, which I just happen to have done. Now I'm busy rocking out. Three-bar blues. About 1,000 years ago, I played bass in a band in high school. And then off and on after, but bass and harmonica. Boy, there's been a lot of changes in my lifetime with the you know, how music has changed and artists and stuff. Pretty incredible. So welcome to the stream, and drop something in the chat. How are you? Where are you? Who are you? Whatever. Welcome. That's the most important part. Feel free. Gotta turn off the headset. I'm busy grooving out over here. Let's get out and grab. I'll go out and grab Mama, and we'll start jitterbugging or something. So here we go. They're liable to fuss around and not break it out. And I'm thinking now what I need to do to change those parameters so that the values push. Let's look at that. Here we are. This looks kind of screwy with these lines down here, but I took the easy way out. As what I'm concerned with is these levels pushing properly and to bookmap, and they are. So I can deal with this. I used to have it. I used to have these hidden, you know, so for the various sessions, but until each session, so it looked normal. It was just but the problem with that is, and I'll show you what the problem with that is. The way you do that is, for example, here. I can't set a user variable, which I can do for the range, and I can do for the session start, but I can't do a user variable for this n number of minutes in the session. So I don't want to go in and have to change them every time for all of those lines, because I will probably screw that up. So I just turn those off. Really annoying. But I'm not going to bother Eddie or Bill if they could fix this so that it would take user variables as here. And if it did, then I could just set those all up as I do. Ooh, come on, keep going, baby. As I do here. I could just I set some VPOP variables down here as I've done these, and there we go. Right? So and because it's so easy, I'll now change this from 1 minute to 120 minutes, and these will miraculously start pushing across the book map at 1900. And there's a lot of other things I said, obviously, but you know, you get the point. You get the point. Obla di, obla da. Well, all dressed up and no place to go. I'm going to be, in 8 minutes, we're going to switch over to the world famous Asia story. And just, you know, beware. This is not a prediction, but it is an observation that I've thought I had, like the orbs not breaking out. We get the volatility starts to move right at the end, right at the last, but just into the open of the Asia session. Let's see if that. Now, if we were running to 50 in advance, you know, front running the orb, that would be all excited because we'd be at 4 points in and we'd be looking down here and getting all nervous, getting all antsy, excited. These don't even qualify as, I couldn't even, you know, squint my eyes tight enough to say they look like bar trades even. I think Magic had the right ideas. Too slow, he's going for a walk. That's probably what I should have done, but it's 93 out there, or 94 or something, so. Well, that's kind of hot. Well, boo, his boo, 5 minutes. And this is annoying because if they break this out right now, here's my dilemma. You know, this is 4 minutes or 5 minutes to the Asia session. So would I be looking for a retest or retrace and a trade here to trade in, you know, or would I just go, okay, thanks very much, and then start over with the Asia session and look for that breakout retest? That's a dilemma I haven't figured out yet. I've only taken, in these 4 weeks, I've only taken 2 or maybe 1 trade. But it was in this session, this Globex before Asia. Worked out fine. It was actually I put on the hedge trade, but it wasn't triggered. And in the back of my mind with Asia, I have the nagging, okay, now you're going to crap out and run out of energy in about another 2 hours. So you want to put on a trade and then, mosey, mess around here till 2 or 3 in the morning? I don't think so. By the time this stream winds up, I will have been on this desk here on stream about 10 hours or 12 and, 14 or something, 14 or 15 in and around the desk. But the stream starts every morning at 8 o'clock and ends at 1500. And then this starts at 1700 and goes until about 20. So it's at least 12 hours. And it can't. Not complaining at all, just stating the fact. Okay. Well, there we go, back up to the 50. That's what front running can do for you. See what I mean? Now there's Asia kicking in, and all of a sudden they're jumping all over the place. Now I've got to go over here and do my magical mystery tour down here. Okay. Come on now. Now, wait a minute. What am I doing? Who am I kidding? Now you see how it shut that off, and now we're starting over here on the new one in the queue. Okay, well, there we go. Hoi polloi and a fraptious freyat frau, and there we have the new zones being pushed. I don't see the high and the low yet. That's kind of disappointing. Maybe that's going to fall on its head. I don't know. I'll have to check. No, there we go. There's the new zone being pushed. But not the, because here's where we're trading, but I don't see the high and the low yet. Man, now I got the hiccups. Great. I'm so pleased. Okay, trading view. What did they do? What are they doing? So here's Asia getting ready to go. Asia's kicking off right there. Boop, 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 boop. And now we need to do this. So no breakout. It's official, huh? Everybody knows there's no breakout. And that's there. And that's down there. And the next one is here. So let's see what we do with Asia. I'm sorry. Globex was no breakout. So we're starting off with Asia right here. I'm a little puzzled why I'm not seeing these highs and lows. Frankly. Okay, so now we got that one. Let's get back over to here and let's recalibrate all of this crap. Asia. Okay. Well, here we are. 50% across the board. That doesn't look like much fun, does it? Wednesdays, 0, the hero. Oh, we broke out both of them. Oh, looky there. But it's not the top yet, so we didn't break out anybody. Oh, okay. And my eyes are toast. If I'm right. 48.75 and 12. Whoa, wait, what? 42. 48.75 and 42. All right. That looks a little better. This thing should do what I want it to do. If this pushes one of them. Now the problem is I've got to change this to set 75 or whatever. 275. And I need to change that other. What happened here? Why did that do that? Why is it not doing it? $275 to do. Okay. Why? Do the same thing down. Get rid of that. 276. Do the same thing. And this somehow or another. Yeah, it ain't working. Oh, look at there. Isn't that cute? Okay, now I gotta get the bottom working. I'm all set. Get this lower one working, I'll be all set. I don't seem to be able to get this figured out. I want the other one. Okay. $276. Okay. Well, let's see what happens now. Why are you doing this? I don't know what this nosedive here is all about, but okay. This should work. Oh, no, it doesn't. Damn it. Oh, does this one say 275? Yeah. And that's the... Well, I'm not having any fun here. Oh, what did it do? Huh. I've probably broken this completely now. Well, I think this is that one. $275, right? And this one, now it's 276, not 66. That's probably a big part of the problem. Now it should pop up over here pretty quick, I hope. Let's hope. This just doesn't look right. Yeah, there we go. Wow, that's painful. Oof. That was painful. But now we have it, and I think it should be all-time base, so I always think it should have been if it's not. And there you go. Now, okay, enough of that crap. And I don't know what this nonsense is, but that looks pretty crazy, but okay, whatever. Let's get on to the next boogaloo here. Oh, look at us here. Are we really that bad off? Yes, we are. Smack in the middle. Stock up in the middle, my brother. And there's the IB is set. So the IB high was the low was formed first. And we are at 0, 25, 50, 75. So here's our closing beauty right here is that, again, it's 25 to 50. Closing zone is, drum roll please, 25 by 50. So there's our probabilities. And when the low was formed first, so we've got a 53%, we're going to take the high, and a 46% we're going to break the low. In other words, I'm so confused. Well, this is why I'm trying to trade with stats, to put as much probability on my side of the line as I can. All right, so I've gotten these things over here. I'm lonesome, bored, I did accomplish something tonight. I got the zones all working. And I'm basing my trading on the data. Are they going to come down and take the IB low? Maybe. Are they going to pull back to the... Now, we need to start thinking about the pullback stuff. This is not a time to trade in anticipation or to front run, in my opinion. Once again. So we're going to look at the retrace. So if they take out the IB low first, we've got a 68% probability we're coming back to the 25, and a 51% we're coming back to the 50. So that would be, the 50 would be the short, in my opinion. Maybe wrong, and I say that because if we come back to the 50, which is right here, then we're above the VPOC and above the VWAP. And I'm not real sure if that's, what that means. Here we're going to take the IB. There we go. So we took the IB low first. So we've got a 68%, 69% probability we're going to retrace to the 25. And then another 50 to the 50 mark. And there we go. We took the IB low. Yes. Ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop. Everything's all right. So we know what that's about. And we've got now here's the big one. This is a 7-point range. Does that mean anything? That means that there's 2 points between each zone. If it pulls back to the 50, it's only 4 points to the low. That's not enough meat on the bone. That's what would be referred to in the vernacular as ridiculous. Front running looks great, doesn't it? You got short here when it retested the 50, and your front run down here. And what are you? Well, you're 6 handles. You're 7 handles in, all the way down here. Nah, this is not tradable. It is certainly tradable if you're oh, I forgot to put that over there. Did I need to put that? Oh, come on, don't do that now. That's not right. That's not right. Yeah. I'm not gonna short that. As much as I'd like to take a trade, I'm not gonna do that. And it may run, till who knows where. But I'm not gonna take that trade because there's only 2 points per level. And not that it's given me an opportunity to do that anyway. So I'm just talking out loud. I mean, I'm inputting my thoughts to this journal recording. And I'm going to shut this mess off at the bottom of the hour, that's for sure. This has been 2 full sessions of ridiculousness. Unlike the IB today, which had quite a bit of movement in it. Hmm. And maybe they're going to dump it. They're going could dump it down. Who the hell knows? But there's no data to support that I know of. And I can't tell you how disappointing and frustrating that is. These days are long, and I need to be getting somewhere. And I'm not. And that's not to say that Asia's not going to just come banging out of shoot number 4 over here, too. We don't know. We're right here, right on the mid and the VWAP and everybody else. The IB is just down below here. The IB high, I might point out. This little white nub right here is where we're trading currently. Ooh, little white nub right here is where we're trading currently. Basically the close. Yeah, pretty close. Here's the close. And there we go. Well, they did break almost down to the IB, but no retrace. Okay, so now, brown cow. What a pain in the, what a pain in the butt art thou. Oh, well, I got these working, so that's, okay, great. I'm not convinced this is going to be any kind of a look at. They brought it right down to the IB high within a tick. Is this a short? Is this any kind of a signal? No, it's not. It's nothing. It's not supported by any kind of data. So I'm not even remotely thinking about it. What is this thing here? That little artifact right there. I wonder. A fat finger tick, maybe. This is the killer right here. 7 points on the orbs on the opening range, and the Globex did not break out at all. And in hindsight, when you're looking at these things, of course you knew to, this pullback to the 50 line here, and then you went short. Of course you knew that. That's the way the rearview mirror people, the rearview mirror gurus go at it. But I certainly didn't know that. And that was not part of the statistics or the data. So here I stand. And that's what happens when you trade with vetted, statistically verified setups and data. You spend a lot of time not trading. So I'll wait for this to get down to the bottom of the hour here, and then I think I'll shut it off. I might let it come up to nah. I was going to say let it trade up to 2100, but why? There's no data involved. Even if it came up through here now, I would be real apprehensive to take another. There's just not enough meat on the bone up here. So I'll end the stream at the bottom of the hour. And we can actually start that right now, I guess. Yeah, so there's the stream. There's the Globex and the ORB. ORB for both Globex and Asia. Real benign. This is where we are. And we've come right down to the IB high basically, and then we're kind of stalled out. So it may break out and go thundering down. Who the hell knows? But we're right here at this little white nub again up here. So it is what it is. There was no data-driven signal or trigger at all, and there was one today, which I was not on the desk. I was doing something important. I was taking Tam somewhere, which I have to do again tomorrow at 9:30, and then go pick her up at 2:00 again. So that's going to be a thing for a while, I guess, which is fine. So there we are. And those the trade I'm talking about this morning is right here. We broke through the IB. We came down through here to between the 25 and the 50% mark or zone, and then traded them all the way back up to the, sky's the limit up here. And I was just not back until about here. And, it's over with, the trade for me. The setup and all that is over with. And I'm not making them up or trading by discretion, because I don't think that's not what my commitment or my trade plan says. So that's not what I'm doing. Let me see if I can show you that. Oh, wait a minute. I guess I could maybe look at that over here in trading view. Yeah, probably. Okay. Here's the IB. We break it. We trade down between the 25 and the 50, just exactly by the book on these data long, and you see what that would have been. And I got back right about here. So pretty disappointing. By golly. All right. Let's look at the bigger picture here now. Who knows what's going to happen with tweets or us, but the non-farm pre-change S&P PMI at 845, ISM manufacturing PMI at 9, ISM prices, ISM employment, manufacturing employment, and construction spending, all tomorrow morning. And just as a little tweaker-peeker here, Thursday is non-farm payroll. So this is what we're going to have to look forward to. So you can start being on guard at 7:15, but more probably 8 through 9. This is investing.com, by the way. They report and track real economic data, not we're going to have a signing here or we're going to go play golf there or whatever else, wherever there might be a microphone moment. This is the real stuff. And I appreciate that. It's free, and you can filter it for wherever you are. A Financial Juice, on the other hand, I keep up for just basically the opposite reasons. If some recognized potential risk is going to happen that is not a normal economic number, Trump's going to be in front of a microphone or a camera about something, well, then they'll try to pull that into their calendar, but for sure it'll make it into the squawk box And today's environment, as traders, our primary goal is to preserve our account. That's it. That's your fundamental prime directive. Compound your account, grow your account, yeah, but preserve your account. That's first and foremost. And the basic way that you do that is risk management. And if you don't know about a risk, you can't manage or mitigate it. That's not got anything to do with politics or anything else. It's the truth. Risk management. In this day and age, with especially Trump gets in front of a microphone or a camera, who knows what can be said, or a tweet. So it's really good to know about those things. All right, that's going to do it for me tonight. I'm going to be back at 8 o'clock in the morning, Central Standard Time, for the usual 7-hour RTH stream. And we'll see what kind of trades we can get. Let's hope so. I need to get some. This is my virtual trading business, so I need to have some business. Business. All right, have a great night. Stay healthy, get some rest, get well, hydrated, be on fine form and in your best fit shape tomorrow morning when the market's open. Thanks a lot for coming by. If you did, Magic, have a great one, man. I'll talk to you guys in the morning at 8 o'clock. Pre-market, set up all the software, pull the statistics together, have a look at the news, the reports, analyze what happened in the rest of the pre-market or the overnight here.